Hey guys, welcome back to Inchworm Gardens. I'm here in Middle Tennessee, Zone 7A. It's a beautiful 72 degrees Fahrenheit, a very warm spring day, and we are 2 days away from our average last frost date, but there is not an ounce of cold weather in sight for the next 10-day forecast, so I think we are totally out of the clear and I'm not expecting any late frosts. So I wanted to give you a little update of the garden today. I want to show you everything that we have growing currently. I started seeds 6 weeks ago, so I want to give you an update of how those seedlings are coming along. I'm hardening off all the plants right now. It means I'm bringing them outside, getting them acclimated to the heat and the direct sunlight, and I'm going to be planting them soon. So I just want to give you an update, show you everything that we have growing for early spring at the Inchworm Gardens. All right guys, let's get started. Alright guys, so let's take a look at these seedlings first that I mentioned. So these were all started indoors about 6 weeks ago, and I've moved them outside and I'm doing this process called hardening off. So this is very important. When you're growing seeds indoors, they're used to the calmer temperatures and the not as intense light and heat, and if you move them directly out into the sun, they'll just get scorched. So you have to do it a little bit at a time. Ideally you pick a nice cloudy day and kind of introduce them gradually. It's a little sunnier and hotter right now than it should have been, but this is probably the 5th or 6th day that I've been doing this, so they're doing okay. Here's another look, some tomatoes. And like I said, it's been about 6 weeks to the day that I started these guys, so that's what you're seeing here, 6 weeks of growth. And just to show you what can happen during that process, if you do it too fast, you can get some sun scald, these little white spots. That's actually a little bit roasted from the sun there. So you just gotta be a little careful, make sure you harden off your plants. All right, so let's see what's growing on in here. Got a couple tomatoes here. As you can see, these are much bigger. These were actually given to my wife from her friend at her CrossFit gym. So shout out to Glenn, thanks for the tomatoes. That's a big boy and a black crim. This is a tomato that I got at a local nursery. It was labeled as Candyland Red. When I looked up the seeds of those, everything I could find showed it was a big determinate or indeterminate, actually currant type of tomato. But as you can see, this really looks more like a dwarf. So pretty positive that this is a dwarf tomato. So I put it in this bucket and we're just gonna be growing some of those. I'm growing some other dwarf tomatoes, the orange hat, which I'm really excited about. I have 10 of these plants. You can see they're small. They're gonna stay small, but they'll produce a lot of nice little orangish yellow tomatoes. So these are, this is my kale bed. Kale's doing okay. I put this up. When I put these guys outside, I was putting like an insect netting over it to kind of help shield some of the sun. And then when the when the white flies come in, which make these caterpillars on the kale, and they just devour the kale leaves. So once those guys come in, I'm going to cover this with insect netting to help guard against those pests. But that's going pretty well so far. It's peas all along the backside. There's a couple more tomatoes from Glenn. It's a Amish paste and a Mr. Stripey back there. These guys are really cool. You'll see these kind of all over the garden. This is Egyptian walking onion. So it creates these bulbs at the top, and then the bulb falls down, it plants itself, grows up, falls down, plants itself, and it'll walk across your yard like that. So these are great, and they're really tasty. You can eat them as green onions. Some more greens there. This is going to be a bed full of okra. I'm going to grow 8 okra plants right there. Some more green onions over there. This is the 3rd year those guys have been in the ground. Come back every year. And they're going to be flowering soon. Here's a recent addition. This is a hardy kiwi. This is acai, I think is the variety. It's a self-fertile kiwi, which means, well, it's self-fertile, so you only need one of them. To pollinate. It doesn't have to have more than one to cross-pollinate, and it creates these tiny little kiwi that are like grape size. So I'm excited about that. Have some flowers, and here's one where the petals fell off and you can see a tiny little green fruit there. So I'm hoping to get some kiwi fruit this year. All right, this bed is going to be perennial flowers, my butterfly garden basically. I have a lot of different things in here. Some columbine in the front that I purchased. This is the coneflower that was growing in that bed over there. I divided it up. It was one giant plant. I divided it into these 5, which is cool. Planted some hollyhocks there. This is like a 9-foot flower that's going to grow up here. So I'm excited about that. Some various stuff. This is kind of a mystery plant that I'm letting grow to see what it turns into, which I wanted to say is something I would recommend, especially to first-time gardeners. You're going to get random stuff popping up that you might not recognize. I would suggest some of it grow just to see what it looks like and see what it turns into, and you can learn a lot from that. There was these little things that grew last year. They were popping up everywhere. I didn't know what they were. These little sprouts. I'll see if I can find any. I've been pulling them out now. But I wanted to see what they were, so I let one grow, and it turned into this giant lamb's quarters, which is edible, but I didn't eat any of them. But I just let it grow, and then you know, I learned from that. I learned what that little sprout looks like. These are native plants. These are native to the area. So anyway, just a suggestion. Let things grow at least the first year, so you can see what they turn into, and then in subsequent years you'll recognize those sprouts and you can pull them out. So anyway, that long rant is to say that this is a local, I believe it's goldenrod is what my plant finder app said. So I'm gonna let that grow, see what it looks like, and yeah, that's that. Some bronze fennel there. Nothing growing here yet. Well, I mean, there's some garlic growing there, but that's gonna be our tomato and peppers beds back there. Our herbs are growing nicely. Indy, what's up, baby? You have something to say? That's Indy, our mini Australian Shepherd. She's good friends with the chickens. Likes to play with them. Harasses them a little bit, but mostly she's nice. Good girl, Indy. All right, back to this herb bed. So oregano comes back every year, doing really well. Some thyme. Here's another little hack. So you go to Home Depot or Lowe's and you see thyme for $5. You know, the burpees thymes, but burpees thyme for $5 there. But if you go to your supermarket, Kroger or Publix, you go to the deli, or sorry, not the deli, but like the vegetable area, and you see the culinary thyme. They sell for $1.99. It's the exact same thyme. So I bought that as an experiment. I knew it would work. But yeah, $2, and you get some thyme that you can plant and grows just as well as any other plant from the nursery. Some lemon balm. This is a lemon, actually this is an orange thyme planted from Baker Creek last year. This is our chives. All right, finally starting to flower. Beautiful purple flowers on this chive. It's exciting. And then this is an orange lemon balm, orange scented lemon balm. Smells really great. Got those seeds from Baker Creek. Planted them last year and they came back. And growing some fenugreek and some lavender there. This is a cool little growing area I'm really happy with. This is sorrel, or bloody dock is another name for it. And it has these edible leaves, these really pretty red veined leaves. My idea was to plant them right here by this part of the chicken tunnel. As you can see, the chickens can come in here and they can eat. And I like the idea of having it close enough where the chickens could eat off of this side and then we could harvest off of this side. And as you can see, it's working just perfectly. Chickens love it. And they can get just enough where it doesn't kill off the plants completely. And but it gives them a little salad bar there. So happy with how that turned out. I'm growing lavender from seed for the first time. This is a pink lavender. It's going pretty well. Nothing much here. A few small sprouts and flowers I planted here. These bachelor buttons came back from last year. So not a whole lot planting yet, just getting ready. Some apple mint got from a nursery recently. This is a hyssop or hyssop. Planted it last year, came back. It has not flowered yet. It's supposed to have these nice tall purple flowers, so I'm excited about those. Hopefully we get some flowers this year. All right, stepping back. These are all strawberries. All right, so unfortunately we had a crazy hard freeze here in Tennessee. If any of you guys are in the area, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You drive around here and you see so many dead box bushes and so many dead plants that usually are hardy to this area, but this unprecedented freeze just wiped out a lot of plants. And my poor fig was a victim of that. So this fig is dead from the top down, which is real bummer. This is my, I think, 3rd or 4th year I've had it, and I have yet to had a single fig from here. But I mean, this is just like completely dead. Now, of course, it would and could grow back and will, because if you look down here, there is a tiny little sprout coming up from the bottom. It is growing from the root stock. So what that means, often fruit trees are grafted onto a root stock, so it's actually a different variety underneath and underneath the soil as opposed to the top. So this is probably a different, this is probably is not a Celeste fig that's coming up. It's probably whatever the root stock was. But to be honest, I don't think I'm even gonna let it grow. I think I'm done trying this fig here. But my wife had a good suggestion. I was ready to just chop it down, but she said, hey, why don't we use it for a trellis this year? So I'm gonna keep it like that, and we're gonna be planting cucamelons all along the bottom and grow cucamelons up there. So it'll hopefully look like a little cucamelon tree. Those are a fun little cucumber looking fruit if you haven't tried those before. Some more fenugreek in there, more lemon balm. Kids mower, toy mower. And this is all going to be, I think it's a canna lily that grows over here. So anyway, it's still pretty bare. It's early in the season. Oh, this is my 5-year-old's little garden. So cute. He actually has some good stuff growing. This is a, look at this. This was a turnip. I think there's a turnip that we got that just started going to flower, so he stuck it in here. And look, he actually has some little turnip buds growing there. An iris. He just finds like random things and sticks them in here and they grow. Look at this potato. So cute. And he loves bacon. All right. Anything else to show you? Let's see. I just want to mention this green stalk planter. I grew strawberries in it every year, but I eventually took them out, planted them around the yard like those that you saw earlier. And this year I'm going to be planting different things. So I do have cilantro down there. This is a curled parsley. I'm going to do, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, basil, this whole ring, there's 6 of them. This whole is going to be basil. And then I'm going to grow those orange hat tomatoes at the top, that one right there, the little micro tomatoes. And then over here I have a cool new flower I'm trying this year. It's called honeywort, and it's related to borage, so it's going to grow similar to that. And so that should look real pretty. Some flowers and tomatoes and basil all there, so it's going to be a little nice little herb and tomato area. And just since I mentioned the honeywort and the borage, this is comfrey. Look how pretty these flowers are, and this is also in the same family. So these are all kind of going to be related. And I have some borage planted over here. All right, and then some empty tomato cages. You can see I have like 19 tomato plants that I have to figure out where to plant. So I'm going to be putting some in buckets, and then the rest along this wall, like I mentioned. So there we go. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's the garden update for you. I really appreciate you being here. I hope your garden is growing well, and I'll have another update for you guys soon. Take care.